Okay, so direct variation. A direct variation is a specific relationship in which there is a constant ratio, which is y divided by x, between the two variables. Now, did I just say the change in y over the change in x?
Yes.
Did I?
No.
No. So a direct variation is a specific relationship in which there is a constant ratio of just y divided by x. Okay? Now the constant of variation is the variable k. Now this k in direct variation is your slope. That's all it is. It's your slope. Okay? Now direct variation equations are written in the form of y equals kx. The number being multiplied to the x is always your slope. So instead of using the m, we use the letter k. Why do we use the letter k instead of m? To represent which one is a slope-intercept and which one's a direct variation. Okay? So we want to identify the constant of the ordered pairs below, then write identify the constant. Then write a direct variation equation to represent the relationship. So what it wants us to do is it wants to solve for k first. K can be found by doing y divided by x. Again, am I saying the change in? No. Just y divided by x. Here's an x, here's a y, all in the same parentheses. So I divide them. 4 divided by 1 is 4. What do you mean flip them? That's the ratio, y divided by x. Okay? Now, if I did the same thing with the second ordered pair, what's 8 divided by 2? 4. What's 12 divided by 3? 4. What's 16 divided by 4? 4. Okay? That is the constant of variation. Okay? Our equation will be y equals the slope, aka the constant, for x.
Oh, that's it?
Yep.
Oh, this is
Okay? This one right here. K is y divided by x. Here's an x, here's a y. Let's divide them. 3 divided by negative 6. First and foremost, positive divided by negative is a negative. What, Connor? Negative. Holy cow. Positive divided by a negative is a negative. 3 divided by 6 gives you 1/2. Thank you, Brett. Holy cow. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Yikes. We're just gonna move on. Okay. Now, what is 0 divided by 0? 0. Okay. That changes things. AKA, no, it doesn't. Okay. Because direct variation equations are proportional. Okay? Now, on a graph, a proportional equation goes through the origin. And the ordered pair for the origin is? Hey! So, this does not affect our equation. It's just showing us that, hey, we got a proportional relationship. So, we can just do y equals negative 1/2 x. The 0, 0 only shows that it's proportional.
But what about the number 1? Is that proportional?
Do we have a constant of variation?
Oh, yeah.
Then yes.
Oh.
So there are two ways to identify if it's a constant of variation or not. One is if you get the same ratio between every ordered pair. Or two, one of those ordered pairs is the origin.
So if it has the origin one, it's not because of the variation?
Say it again.
It's still a direct variation. It has the 0, 0 in order.
Yeah. Number 3. Do I have a 0, 0? So it is proportional, which means I will have a constant of variation, which is -8 over -12. What's a negative divided by a negative?
Positive.
What does 8 over 12 simplify to?
2, 6. 2, why is it 3?
If you divide 8 by 4, you get 2. If you divide 12 by 4, what do you get? 3. 2/3, which means my equation is just y equals 2/3 x. Next. Okay, I don't have a 0, 0, so I need to test it here. 12 divided by -4 is negative -3.
What? No, but you
Kimura, can that do 12 divided by -4 in the calculator? Can someone do 3 divided by -1 in the calculator?
Yeah. -3.
What's -9 divided by +3? What's -15 divided by +5? So I have a constant of variation of -3, so my equation is y equals -3x. Yeah. Now that is getting your equation from ordered pairs and tables. Now what if I ask you to identify an equation as direct variation or not? Okay, the key is there a y-intercept? That is the question you have to ask yourself. Looking at problem number 5, okay, do I have a y equals mx plus b type of equation?
No.
Yes, but there's no.
Do I have a slope?
Yes.
Yes, I do have a slope, so it is technically in a air quotes slope-intercept form, but do I have a b?
No.
No. So that is what makes this a,
Constant. That's what I mean.
I'm just going to put the word yes. Okay, that's what makes it a constant of variation. So if I have a slope but no y-intercept, it's y equals kx. Constant of variation, or direct variation. Okay? Now, what is k from the equation?
3x.
3. It's never the variable x. It's the number attached to it. What about number 6? Does that have a y-intercept?
Yes. No.
Yes,
I
no,
think it
what?
No.
There is no y-intercept. However, do I have a number being multiplied to the variable x?
No.
Okay, let's start from the beginning. All right. Do I have a y-intercept?
No.
No, we do not. Second question. Is my valued number, if the only number in the problem here, being multiplied to an x?
Yes.
So is that considered a slope?
Yes.
So would this be direct variation?
Yes.
Okay, because I have a slope of
Negative 4.5.
4/5. I have 4/5.
You said 4. I said 4. You said.
7. Do I have a y-intercept?
No.
No.
No. Do I have a number being multiplied to the variable x?
No.
So this can't be a slope.
Yeah.
So this is not a direct variation equation because it is not a slope. However, what is this?
2.
It's Hoy, which has a slope of
2.
0. Wow, I am afraid to grade y'all's quizzes later.
Oh.
I think I do.
I think I did so.
Okay. On number 8 is y by itself.
Yeah, no.
So I need to make it by itself. We would divide because we're trying to isolate, not move it. 5 over 2 does not give me a whole number, so I leave it as the fraction. Okay? Now, I can ask my 2 questions. Is there a y-intercept? No. There is not. There is no plus or minus anything. Okay? Now, do I have a number being multiplied to the variable x? Yes. So that is considered my what? Starts with an S, rhymes with lope. Slope. Okay? Because I do have a slope and no y-intercept, then I do have a direct variation equation where k, aka the slope, is 5 over 2. Number 9 is y by itself.
Yes.
Okay, so then we could go ahead and ask our 2 questions. Do I have a y-intercept?
Yes.
Then it's automatically not direct variation. Number 10 is y by itself.
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a y-intercept?
Yes. No.
No, there's no plus or minus a constant. Okay. Do I have a slope?
Yes.
Yes. What is it?
1x.
Negative 1. Stop saying the x. So this is direct variation where slope, aka k, is negative 1. Okay. Remember, slope is the number, not the number and x. It's the number being multiplied to the x. There's a difference. Okay. 11 is y by itself.
No.
So we got to make it by itself.
1 over
Okay. Do I have a y-intercept?
Yes. No.
No. Gah. Do I have a slope?
Yes.
Yes. So it's a direct variation where the slope, aka k, is
1
1/2.
half.
Okay. Do I have y by itself?
No.
So I got to make it by itself. Still got to make it by itself.
How would that change even if you didn't have to do the math? There would still be a y-intercept. Right?
Say it again, Brett.
There would still be a y-intercept even if you did the math or not, right?
Like on 12?
Yeah.
How did you know there will automatically be a y-intercept?
Because it says 6.
Because 6.
That's the only other number. That means it's
So Brett is trying to find a shortcut. Okay, so you have standard form here. All right. I know I have to move the x over, but when I move the x over, would it combine with what's on the right-hand side? No. So that would make me have a negative 4x plus 6, right? Now, if I divide by 2, am I going to get 0 to where that y-intercept disappears? No. Okay, so I can, without solving the whole thing, say, oh, wait, I have standard form. I have a constant. So no matter what I do, I'm going to have a y-intercept. So would that be a direct variation? No, because I have a y-intercept, which would end up being 3. So yeah, you can, if that makes sense to you, that at the very beginning that you know that there's going to be a y-intercept, you don't have to solve it, Brett. But not everyone knows that off the top of their head, but it is nice to talk about. All right, this one right here. That's 0. If I move 5x over, y equals negative 5x. Do I even need to put a plus 0? No. Okay, so let's think about it. I don't need to put a plus 0. So do I have a y-intercept? No, I don't. Because it's not there. It's 0. It doesn't exist. Goose egg. Nada. Zilch. I can't think of any other words.
What's zilch?
Zilch is 0.
In what language?
American.
Really? Oh.
Okay? So, because there is no y-intercept, do I have a slope?
Yep.
Yes, I do, because it's a number being multiplied to the variable x. So, yes, this is direct variation, and our slope is
Negative 5.
-5. Is it -5x?
No.
No, because slope is the number being multiplied to the x. Graphs. I thought that was the... Ow. Yeah, I thought that was the spring part, and it wasn't, so that really hurt. Identify the graphs below that represent direct variation. Direct variations are schmishmortional. Okay? Got a good old schmishmortional. Okay? Proportional means that a graph goes through the what? The origin. Does this graph go through the origin? Okay? Which means I now need to identify the slope k. How do I find slope? Rise over run. Good old slope triangles. Okay? How high do I rise? How far do I run? And you're done. You know how you can be done even faster on a problem? Does this go through the origin?
No.
And you're done.
Is this the
See what I did
hardest it's gonna get?
Is this what?
The hardest it's gonna get?
Is this the hardest it's going to get? Like for direct variation?
Yeah. Well, for like this year.
For direct variation itself? This is it.
Oh.
This is direct variation no matter where you go. Now, direct variations is something you learned in 7th grade, but you didn't realize you learned it in 7th grade. Or is it 8th grade? Either way. Now, we have been saying the word schmishmortional this whole time. Okay? Now, what that means is that we can use schmishmortions to solve for a missing value. Anyone remember what a proportion is? Proportional, but without the AL. You're not wrong. Okay? A proportion is y over x equals y over x. To where the first one is your givens, the second one is what you're solving for. What does that mean? If y is negative 18, so I'm given negative 18 when x is 3. Okay? Find x is at the bottom, when y is 30. Hey, look, a proportion. You have learned how to solve proportions multiple ways. One way is called the butterfly method, or cross multiply divide. Okay? Cross multiply divide tells me I'm going to multiply across what I'm given. 30 times 3, which is 90.
90.
Because we're doing multiplication. 30 times 3 is 90, and I'm going to divide it by the remaining number. That's the butterfly method. Now, why is it really called the butterfly method? Because you create the wings, you create the body, you create the antennae. Hey, look, a butterfly. It's a beautiful butterfly. My butterfly looks like the butterfly from Bug's Life. Gunta. All right, the next one. Okay, again, we're going to create a Schmishmortion. Now, if y is 80 when x is 32, find x when y is 100. What do? Cross multiply and divide by the remaining number. 100 times 32 is 3,200. 3,200 divided by 80 is 40. So x equals 40. Cross multiply divide. Butterfly method. Now, we just solved for x on 22 and 23. Does anything change when we solve for y? Do you think anything will change? No. You cross multiply the numbers and divide by the remaining. So 10 times 12 is 120. 120 divided by 4 is, or negative 4 is, negative 30. If y is negative 7 and x is negative 28, find y when x is 20. Again, cross multiply, divide by the remaining. Okay? Sorry, my true accent came out just then. 20 times negative 7 is negative 140 divided by the remaining. Negative divided by negative is a. And then in our calculators, 140 divided by 28 is 5. I love direct variations because it's just nothing but Schmishmortions. We're not done yet. Aww. Not done. We still got like at least 3 more pages. Word problems. Slope-intercept form is what? Okay, y equals mx plus b. So, we will use slope-intercept form when given a rate of change. Rate of change is our slope. Okay? And given a starting point / fixed amount, which will represent our y-intercept. So the y-intercept could be represented by 2 different ways. It could be a total amount that you start with, a starting point, or it could be a fixed amount that will not change within the problem. Okay? So we're going to look at this first one. Evan is going to the county fair this weekend. The admission to the fair is $5 and the cost per ride is 50 cents. Okay? Now that whole sentence is our equation. The number 5, is that a fixed amount or is it something that will change depending on what we do? Fixed. It is fixed. It will not change. I'm paying $5 to get in no matter what. So because of that, that is our B. because that will not change. No matter what time of the day I go to that fair, I'm paying $5 to get in. Okay? Now, the word and, what do you think that means? Because it actually does mean something. Addition. Okay? And will represent addition, so our y-intercept plus the cost per ride is 50 cents. So it's 50 cents per ride. Per is our slope, according to Jordan. Okay? 50 cents is our slope. Okay? Now let's continue on. If his parents gave him $20, write and solve a linear equation to find how many rides he can go on. So again, my equation is y equals 50 cents or 0.5x plus the $5 entry fee. This $20 is what we will substitute into the problem to solve for the total number of rides. Okay? Y is our cost. The y value is our cost because $5 was our y-intercept. Y and y. Do you see that? Y and y. Okay? So, to solve for the number of rides, I'm going to substitute 20 in for y because that is our cost. That's the total amount of money. Money. Y equals 0.5x plus 5. Now, if I gave you this problem and I asked you how many rides did I ride, what are we solving for? X. Okay? What would I do? Someone walk me through step by step. What? Draw a line. Okay, we can do that. Haven't done that in a while, but we can do that. Now what? Subtract what? 5. Minus the 5 to the 20. What do I do now? So X will equal 30 rides. You said that's a lot. Just wait. It's about to get more. Oh, I thought you were talking about the amount of work we did. I was about to say, we're about to do a lot more work. So in a word problem, you'll use slope-intercept when given a rate of change and a starting point or a fixed amount. Okay. Now the key thing is that your slope-intercept, your mx plus b, will all be in the same sentence. That's the key also. Do you see how fair is $5 and the cost per ride is 50 cents? See how that's all in one sentence? Then it started a completely new sentence and saying that he had $20. That 20, yes, is a starting amount of money that he started with. However, it's not in the same sentence as the actual slope itself. Does that make sense? Okay, hopefully it does. All right, we're only going to do one example, so now we're going to go to standard form. Okay, when will I use standard form? Well, first of all, standard form is AX plus BY equals C. Now, we will use it when the problem itself, or just put the problem, relates to different objects. Okay, when the problem relates to different objects, and when we're talking about relates, we're talking about like compares, okay, or combines is another way we can do it too. All right, so looking at our first example here, Sam ordered 2 hamburgers and 3 hot dogs. So that's 2 different things. Neither of them are a rate of change. It's just a value for a topic, for an object. and they're on the same sentence. X and Y, neither of them are currently the slope. They're just two objects on the same side of the equal sign put together. AKA two topics put together combined with the word and, which is plus. Okay? His bill comes out to a total of $19.05. Okay? A total. Total. That is your C. That's your C value. I am given the cost of hamburgers. We need to find an equation to help us solve for the cost of hot dogs. So we're going to start out with our standard form equation, where hamburgers will be our X, hot dogs will be our Y. Why am I doing it that way? How do I know hamburgers are X? How do I know hot dogs are Y? It's because X comes before Y in the alphabet. Hamburgers came before hot dogs in the problem. That's literally it. Okay? Don't overcomplicate things. Okay? So I have 2 hamburgers plus 3 hot dogs. Hot dog, hot diggity dog. Which cost a total of $19.05. And I want to find the cost of each hot dog. The good news is I know the cost of each hamburger, which is my X value. Hamburgers is my X value. That's what I labeled up here. So I can put 2 times $5.25, which is really cheap for a hot dog. Hot dog is what? Hot dog was his first word. Hot dog. My daughter watches that 24/7. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. All right. This goes into solving rules now. We substituted. Now we simplify. What do we always get rid of first? The parentheses. Okay, get rid of the parenthesi. So distribute. Who can tell me what 2 times 525 is? 1050. So I have 1050 plus 3 hot dogs. We don't know the cost yet. Equals $19.05. What could I do next? Move all variables to one side. All variables are on one side.
And solve.
Okay. Solve how?
Subtract 10.
There it is. That's what I'm looking for. Subtract $10.50. That gives me 3y equals $8.55. If you don't believe me, do it in your calculator. What do I do now?
Divide.
By?
3.
Okay, so I'll divide by 3. So y, or 1 hot dog, is the cost of, what's that? $8.55 divided by 3. $2.85 per hot dog, which is really cheap. That's cheap for a hot dog. They must be at a Little League ball game, not a actual MLB ball game. What, Corbin? Did you get a completely different answer? What'd you get? You got $25 for 1 hot dog? How'd you get $25 for 1 hot dog? Oh, gosh. All right. Next page. Everyone's favorite. Point slope. Which is y minus the y1. Which equals the slope times x minus the x1. Everyone's favorite. Now, when do you think we'll use point slope?
When you find your slope.
Nope.
There is 2 points in a slope.
Nope. 2 points.
Oh, wait, 1 point.
There you go. When you are given a point, which is x comma y, and in word problems, we don't say slope, we call them rate of change. Rate of ratio? Believe it or not, rate of change is a ratio. So we can't have rate of a ratio because rate of change is a ratio. No, because that means you're having a slope of a slope. Okay. All right. At Eagle Bay, it costs $12 per hour. Oh, there's that word per. Okay, to rent a canoe. Nate and his friends rented a canoe for 4 hours and paid $68. Money will always be your why. Money will always be the problem. Is money.
Problems to all solutions.
The solution to all problems.
The solution to all
Money is the solution to all problems?
No.
That
No, because then you lose it and then you're all the problem. Just pretty sure you forget. Just healthcare. No.
Okay, time will always be your X. Time is always your X. Money is always your Y. Okay? So, do I have an X and a Y? Do I have a rate of change?
Yeah.
I do, because the word what?
Per.
Per tells me what my rate of change is. So I have 4,68. That's my X and Y one. And I have an M of 12. Okay? So I have a point. I have a slope. I can now use point slope.
Yeah.
Y minus 68 equals 12 times X minus 4. Now, when solving any problems, what do we need to get rid of first? The parenthesis I. Parenthesis. Okay? So y minus 68 equals 12x minus 48. Now what do?
You subtract 68.
I add 68
However you add.
to where I get y equals 12x plus 20. Now to the actual question, though. The question says write and solve, so we've already written the equation. Now we need to solve a linear equation to find the cost to rent the canoe for 7 hours. Time is always your what? X. Money is always your Y. Time is always your X. So I'm going to take... What? How do I what? You were going to ask a question. How do I what? No? Okay. Time is always X. That's how it's been since 1800s. Okay? So I'm going to take 7 hours and I'm going to replace X with it. Substitute. So I substitute. Algebra 1 is 2 main concepts. Concept number 1, substitution. Concept number 2, simplify. Don't just say solve, because you don't always solve. Sometimes you just simplify. So simplify encompasses everything. All right? When I am solving, aka simplifying, what do I get rid of first? The parenthesis I. Okay? What is 12 times 7?
I don't know.
84. If only we had calculators. Oh, wait. We do. Okay? What's 84 plus 20?
Let me check my calculator.
$104 to rent a canoe for 7 hours. I don't know why anyone would rent a canoe for 7 hours.
I went on a
You're going to paddle. All you would do is paddle. Paddle, paddle, paddle.
4 hours.
For 7 hours, you're going to paddle.
I came with them for 2 hours straight and I was with my parents. So
They do have somewhere to be. Paddling a canoe.
I like the
You don't have to be anywhere. You just paddle it up the stream.
that's actually quite hard.
All right. What if you're given just 2 points? You know what's great about that is we just took a quiz over that. When given 2 points, you need the slope formula. And what? And point slope. And obviously the notes are, it's when you're given 2 points. Dodoy. Okay? To surf the internet for 15 minutes at an airport, aka time is always your what? X. It costs $4.05. Money is always your what?
Your B.
What? Why? I wrote it. Why? What? Okay. Now for 40 minutes, oh, here's another X. So I got to label my X and Y1 now because I have more than one X. Here's my X2. It costs $5.80. Cost. So I had just X and Y. Then I saw that I had a second X and Y, so I then added my X1, Y1, X2, Y2. Now I need to write and solve a linear equation to find the cost for surfing the web for 1 hour. 1 hour is how many minutes? 60 minutes. So I'm going to need that for later, okay? So first and foremost, I have my 2 points. I need a slope. So I'm going to do $5.80 minus $4.05 over 40 minutes minus 15 minutes. Now, when I simplify this, I'm going to get 7 cents per minute. No, I did not do that in my head. This is just the second time I've taught it, and I just remember it. Okay? So it's going to be 7 cents per minute. Now remember, you can just type it in the calculator. Like that. Type it just like you have it, and it'll give you your slope. Okay? Now that I have my slope, I have a slope, I have an X and Y1. I can now use our favorite new formula. And then I can claw my eyes out. I'm tired. When I simplify, what do I get rid of first? The parenthesises. Okay? So I go ahead and distribute it. What's 0.07 times negative 15? Yep. Okay. Now if I add 4.05 to both sides, what do I get? Y equals 0.07x plus 3 with decimals? With points? Technically, we have done this with all points, but because it's point slope. Ha! Math joke. Math/dad joke. All right. Now we need to solve the actual problem itself. How much will it cost if I wanted to pay for internet at the airport for 60 minutes? Okay, so all you got to do is y equals, because y is always the cost, 0.07 times 60 plus 3, which would give you what? Can someone do it in the calculator besides me? The cost would be what? Nope. $7.20. 2 cents would be 0.02. This is 20 cents.